Hello and good evening. I am your host and friend, the Colonel Hector Bravado of Breakup Gaming Society, cueing you all in on just what's happened in my esoteric corner of the board gaming world, which happens to be lately painting all the character vehicles from Pandasaurus Games title released several years ago. It was called Wasteland Express Delivery Service. I could not advance it as the most elegant or mechanically innovative game, but boy did we have some fun with it. And one of the reasons that it came across is because the design, the componentry, the illustrations, and the narrative weave they put into it was pretty engrossing. And it was fun just to race trucks all over the board and try to get victory points. Well, who's racing these trucks? What you're looking at now is the driving team, the complete driving employee roster from Wasteland Express Delivery Service, which is not only the name of the game, it's the name of the last functioning over-the-road delivery service on the planet Earth after nuclear war. Hence all the very wasteland Mad Max look of so many of these vehicles. These themes always kind of get me, just because I was in middle school when the Road Warrior came out, and it made a huge crater in my imagination. So when I saw a game this well produced that had this theme, so I was like, I should just get this. And it turns out that despite its blinding confusion of components, or profusion rather, of components, that within 2 or 3 turns you could kind of get what you were supposed to do with controlling your player board. You wouldn't be necessarily the best player, but you'd know how to move around the map and do stuff. Anyway, before you hear that's Tweak, Gat, Big John, Bandit, obvious homage to Burt Reynolds there, rest in peace, Zero, and The Fallen. And it's fun. There's a character sheet where they all have backstories of what they were, who they were before they came into the employ of Wasteland Express Delivery Service. And while it doesn't have an impact on gameplay, it does sort of evoke a quasi-RPG feel, even if it's not an RPG. But you do have neat things to do. Run around the, it's I think a 4x4, 16 tile hexagonal grid. You run around trying to buy and flip supplies for a profit, upgrade your truck, complete side missions to get victory points, and of course, there are some bad guys involved. That's one of the 3 Raider trucks. I think that's 9-9. I think the blue one, that's the Railmen. And then these guys were called Bonesaw. And then I spent quite a bit of time on this guy, even though I didn't have a big palette of paints. This is, I think High Grand Lord Torque or something. Well, as you can see, he's had himself built into the engine block of his favorite vehicle. So here's a guy who has a very clear idea of what his career path is in life. That's commitment. And then as you can see in the front, I've completed 3 of the character trucks. Gat, Big John, and Zero. By the way, I'm not a professional, or I wouldn't even say a strong intermediate painter. But, I took a few techniques that a guy at a local gaming store showed me to get started, and just slapped on this visor and hunched over models until I sort of got things looking decent enough to where, the casual friend comes over and goes, "Oh, cool, did you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And I'm not even good. But it's still fun, and I like the results I'm getting. Now, most recently, Zero here, who's, as you can tell, they have her truck bristling with guns. She starts the game with a little bit better weaponry than the other players. Every one of these players kind of has a thing. For Bandit, it's speed. For Big John, it's cargo capacity. I always liked playing him because you could stuff that truck early and really make some money. And I think one of these guys' special deals is they can drive through irradiated zones without damaging themselves or their truck because they're already so attuned to rads. Anyway, so there we are, 3 character trucks painted. What I'm probably going to do, now that Tweak has seen Zero's truck come out of the service bay, and now that he has seen that 3 members of the team have snazzy looking rigs, and that his truck has been primed, he's sitting there in the cab. That's his pet lamb right there, if you can't make it out. Just leaning on his horn. He's ready for service. So what I'm going to do is start on Tweak's truck next, and then check in with you once in a while with short videos to show you how the team's painting job is finishing up. Then once it's all done, once I've decided I've hit the it's good enough mark, liable to come back, set up the whole game on a table, and just throw all this plastic on a board. You can just see how cool it was to look at and how good the writing was, etc. etc. But there we go. The progress so far of the Wasteland Express delivery service as being painted by yours truly, the Colonel Hector Bravado of Breakup Gaming Society. I do have a podcast. It focuses on board games, booze, and hip-hop, which are, in my mind, the 3 pillars of a fun night. So every week I'll do a drink of the week, say, what kind of cocktail or beer I was drinking, or straight liquor. I drink a lot of straight liquor. I like things simple. And then a game of the week, where I deep dive into discussing how a certain game made me feel. I don't do a lot of churn out new reviews of the hottest and latest. It's not the way I like to enjoy board games. I don't want to feel like I'm on an assembly line. So sometimes I'll do 3-4 episodes about some game that nobody plays anymore, just because that's what interests me. So maybe you'll have fun at the table, and then I'll at the before the end, I will usually pick out a Golden Age track of the week that I think is really good, play a couple selections, and break down some of the historical context around it, but moreover, just talk about what the producers and rhymers did on that track, which made it so special for me. BreakupGamingSociety.com. Come by, take a listen, and feel free to check back here on YouTube and subscribe to see the progress of the truck painting endeavor. All right? Till next time, my friend, may you fight long and well.